Welcome to a video on insulin doses. When we're working with insulin, it's important to know the context. The math is not difficult, which is a really good thing since most patients administer insulin to themselves in the home setting. However, when a patient does enter the hospital or nursing home setting, you as the nurse will be the one administering their insulin. We'll look at problem A. The order is for Humalog U100, 35 units, subcut daily at 7:30 a.m. The first thing that I want to focus on is that this is U100 insulin. That tells me a ton of information. When I go to the label for the Humalog insulin, I see the U100 on the label. The U100 is a notation for indicating the strength of the insulin. This insulin, as you see at the top of the label, is 100 units per milliliter. With U100 insulin, you should administer the insulin using an insulin syringe. As I look at the syringes, I see this syringe with 50 units, this syringe with 100 units, and this syringe with 30 units. Depending on the amount, I will want to choose one of these syringes. The final syringe is labeled in milliliters and would not be appropriate for U100 insulin. Now that I've determined that I should be using an insulin syringe, administering insulin is just measuring the correct amount. The order is for 35 units, and so I will measure 35 units in the most appropriate syringe. I will not use the 30-unit syringe, it is too small. This particular 100-unit syringe is only marked off in even numbers. So 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 40 are options, but 35 is not an option. So my best syringe is the 50-unit syringe. So I'll use this syringe for part A of this problem. The amount that I administer is 35 units, and I'm shading that amount into the syringe. You'll notice that I did no math, but I had to understand the context. Important thing is that it is U100 insulin, and it should be given with an insulin syringe. Let's take a look at example 2. As I read example 2, the order is for the Humulin R, regular, U500. Insulin 200 units subcutaneously stat. When I look at the label for the Humulin R, I notice that the concentration is U500. Below, I see that that means there are 500 units per milliliter. U500 insulin does not have its own syringe. U500 insulin should be converted to milliliters. When I look at the order, for safety reasons, the doctor is not to order U500 insulin if it is less than 100 units needed. Because this is 200 units, I can easily see that this amount does not fit in any of the unit syringes, which should be a further clue to me that I should convert to milliliters. In order to convert to milliliters, I can use dimensional analysis, the nursing formula, or a proportion. I'll start by looking at the dimensional analysis approach. The ordered amount is 200 units. In dimensional analysis, I'll put this over a placeholder of 1 because there's not an associated time. I'll use the strength of the med. Indicated by the U500, there are 500 units per 1 ml. On the label, we also see the U500 explained as 500 units per ml. To do the math, I take 200, divide by 500, and that gives me an answer of 0.4 milliliters. Because this answer is in milliliters, I will shade it on the milliliter syringe. So on this syringe, I see the 0.4, and the amount of insulin would fill this portion of the syringe. As I said, we could also solve this problem using the other methods. So the nursing formula is desired over have times quantity. In this approach, we desire to give our patient 200 units as the doctor has ordered. We have 500 units, and in the nursing formula, the labels on these two pieces must cancel. And that 500 units is in a quantity of 1 milliliter. Doing the math, we'll get the exact same answer. Finally, we could also set up a proportion. In the proportion approach, we must make equal fractions. The 200 units should be converted to milliliters. Based on the information of the U500 insulin, we know that 500 units is the same as 1 milliliter. To solve this type of problem, we multiply on the diagonals, which would give us 500x equals 200. We divide both sides by 500 to get the exact same answer. To recap, insulin is more about knowing the context than doing a lot of math. U100 insulin, as in Part A, will be administered with a unit syringe. We'll pick the best unit syringe based on the amount ordered. We had 3 different unit syringes, and we chose to go with the 50 unit syringe to measure the 35 units ordered. For Part B, U500 insulin needs to be converted to milliliters. We can do that conversion using dimensional analysis, using the nursing formula, or using a proportion. Because our answer, the amount to administer, was in milliliters, we shaded this amount on the milliliter syringe.